We're here in the shul, there's no suffix. All Kohanim can come in and welcome all the time. The Sikkim of the Tumas Kohanim, Shiva Smith.
What we learned today, Be'ez Hashem, first and foremost, it's a joint effort. Al Pi Torah, Midin Torah. There's a mitzvah on the Kohanim to maintain the Kedusha, and Yisraelim have to be there at all times to make sure nothing is breached in this respect. And that's why for Yisrael to bring a Kohen Ben Yoimai into an Oil HaMeis is a violation of Issa Deraisa. But the Issa on the Kohen is to being Mitame. The fact that he was once Tamei Beheto, B'mitzvah, if he's Mitame to a relative, that is not a heter anyway. It's Issa being Mitame or continuing to be in a place where he shouldn't be. Now basically, Kohanim don't go in the same oil with a mace, but the challenging question is walking or driving under a tree that in one part of it is overhanging a base of kvaros, and the Kohen is either driving or walking under a tree that part of it's in the base of kvaros. So basically, the halacha is that a tree, a full-grown tree, is certainly mitzaref and is maybe tumah from the from a mace to a Kohen in his house if it's open. But certainly walking in the street under a full-grown tree that's overlapping a base of kvaros, and if it's the Yisrael, even Goyim, if you know that the tree is over a base of kvaros, and kvaros actually, that is a problem. Typically, a regular full-grown tree has to be suspect, at least being a suffix that a Kohen should not walk under that tree. The tzaddim to be mekel is number one, when you know for sure it's a stray branch that's not connected to the rest of the tree, that's takamuta. Not a cooler, that's muta. That's the prisha, shach, and taz. But basically, if it's a younger tree that doesn't have a tefach in its branch, or it has branches that are not closely intersecting one of the other, that might be muta. So you have to study it and really figure it out. We should be choishes that leaves do conduct tumah. So a full-grown tree, even though it's not actually only branches, but the leaves combined, especially if they survive the winter. Again, we didn't do justice to the whole sugya, but a full-grown tree should be maintained, that it's not extending over the Rosh Hashanah. Rabbi Yehuda and many Gedolei Yisrael said that's really the course of action. The Divrei Hamudah says Kohanim are more careful than they have to, and this is one of the examples. Perhaps this is not unnecessary, but basically they could have done a Kohen should stay away from these trees unless he knows that again that the tree, the leaf, the branch that he's going under is independent. Miyikadadin a goy is not mitame. That's why we paskin. It's a nochen lahachmir, and that would be a tzati mekel if there's no other choice to go under a tree that's really extending over the goyish beis hakvaros. Even though the Chachmas Adam says you have to be concerned that there are yidden, but you could be mekel that punk the tree is not over a fraya yid, it's over goyim. A beis hakvaros, we are not mekel even if it is space of dalet amis from the kvaros, because the tree is typically connected as one. A museum that has body parts, even if it's goyim, is not enough of a tzarech to be mekel. We did say certain heterim b'mokom tzarech, where there's no other route, and it's goyim, and it's oil zorik, a car, which is not a heter in itself, but that would combine to make sort of a heter. In a tunnel where there's a hearse, yid or goy, a kohen should avoid going in the first place. If he's there, go out in the safest way. Of course, close the windows and go as quick as possible, which is still maintaining the proper safety. A hospital is probably muhzik to have tumah, but that doesn't preclude visiting when necessary, because basically the tumah that is there is not on every floor. It's just a suffix that there might be a mace on that floor, which is happens, but we don't know how often. But basically the klal is a vadai mitzvah b'kacholim, which the patient needs to visit, and you daven for the choila, certainly if it's parents or a close relative or somebody that needs the visit. So you could rely on going in safely. In other words, scout out before you go in. If there's any mace on the area, go in through the steps, not the elevator. Go into the room and close the door, and stay tight as long as you can, and not open the door. And that really avoids any conducting of tumah at that time. Going out the same way, be careful. But there's always a chance that it happens. That's when we use the shekel hakodesh. That basically you have to think: is it important? Could it wait? Would a phone call suffice? Would a nice gift suffice? Would a visit from the window, would that be enough? But if someone feels he needs it, go in and again be makatzer in the visit. That eliminates more of the sveikis. A young kohen can't be brought to visit his mother that had a baby or any other reason, because that's a same problem unless there's a great need. Eishes kohen muberes mitzaradin could go into a beis hakvaris, could go to a levaya. Pashas even the 9th month. There's a chumrah, not the 9th month. Some machmi bichlal, but halacha certainly if there's a reason to go to levaya, then you could make even the 9th month unless it's taka something imminent as far as the birth itself. And basically, the klal is Kohanim have to do their part, Shiyam have to do our part to maintain the kedusha and the tara. We part. Oh, okay, Baruch.